Hello everyone, it's Christmas morning, time to unwrap my presents. I was extra good this year, so Santa brought me something special. This is a 6 car set, it's the Powhatan Arrow. This is actually really hard to find. Bachman has been making a lot of Class J611s. They're awesome, but there's not too many brands that make the Powhatan Arrow. So this one was made by Concord. Really lucky to get this. It's hard to find and it's a little bit expensive. Offer and demand. You know how that works. But it's in really old, but it's in really good shape. And it was converted to micro trains. In fact, I think these are old enough that it still says Katie on it. Yeah, look at that. It does say Katie still on this. Katie, made in the USA. So all these cars are converted to Katie's. They're all different cars. This has value to me. This is a super nice set. And they all have micro trains except for, well, maybe the last car. The last car is still riding on its original trucks. But this car has its original truck in the front. So I'm going to switch that around to a Katie. I've got some. So let's get to work on that. Now these, if you want to take them apart, the roof comes out. You don't necessarily need to do this, but sometimes it helps. Somehow, somebody somewhere glued the ends of the car, so I cannot lift the roof, it's too bad, but I can still make my conversion using the original truck pin. I'm gonna have to remove this little nub here. What it did on the original Concord, it would prevent it from going side to side, going all the way around like this. So for the micro trains, I have to remove that. That is not too much work. I know how to do that. My blade's a little bit dull. And then I can put my truck. That's gonna look awesome. I'm gonna put the wheels back on. Yeah, I cleaned those too. Even though they're just plastic. That just makes me feel good to have ultra clean wheels. May as well, since I got them in my hands. So okay, that looks great. Whenever you make changes like that, you should also try it on the track. Sometimes there's stuff that you can't see, but it interferes with the way your train works. So I'm going to go back and recheck every wheel. I think I'm going to switch this one, switch the wheels to black wheels so they match the others. Although, honestly, if I had the choice, I would prefer metal wheels. But these micro train wheels work pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to switch these wheels around so that everything looks the same. I've got little stashes of parts, all kinds of parts here and there. Trust me, those metal wheels here, they are not going to waste. I'm gonna use them for something good. These are a Concord. You can tell by the way, you can tell that it's Concord by the way that it is. Basically, it's got a gold axle. So I'm gonna put that together with the other Concord wheels, which I don't have too many for parts because I like them, so I use them. I also like the Bachmann wheels because they are very affordable. The other guy removed the coupler from the end here. I think since I got it in my hands, I'm gonna try to put a coupler there. Is that a funny feeling? You get something for Christmas and you have to fix it right away? Do you guys feel good about that or bad about that? To be honest, my main hobby is fixing trains, so that's actually good for me because it makes me feel like I'm part of, you know, the train builders. I can see my windows are just a little bit dirty. I'm gonna see if I can maybe remove the roof. You can push on these two tabs here, so that releases, this tab releases the windows and the roof. Fortunately, this one was not glued, so I can pull it up very gently. Remember that these are 30 to 40 years old, so I will want to be gentle on that. I'm going to use my turtle wax. Use my turtle wax. I'm going to see if I can polish the windows up a little bit. That's going to help. You just need half a drop like this. That's going to go a long ways. Okay, I'm going to polish this up off camera because I think it's going to be a little bit boring. That made a huge difference. It was really worthwhile doing. Show you the other side. Well, I have the windows off. You have a chance also to paint the interiors. So these all have separate interiors. Well, I have the windows off. I do want to work on that little coupler. Fortunately, the little box at the end is easy to remove. It's just held there by two little tabs. It's some HO scale wheels that fell out. They're metal, so they're a little bit heavy, but no damage. Okay, I'm gonna find a little coupler to go in there. I'm gonna try to find. I've got some fake knuckle couplers that would be perfect for that. I really do keep a lot of parts around. This is my box of all Rapido type couplers, and in there's a bunch of little springs. So I'm not planning to pull anything with that coupler, but if I ever decide to, they actually work pretty good. They can hook up with the micro trains, and they look okay. It's gonna do the job for that, for looking good. While I'm looking at my wheels here, I've seen a couple of videos where the guys oil them. I don't know if I'm gonna go that way myself. I think they work fine with no oil. My wheels are a little small for this truck. So when that happens to you, what you can do is you can maybe bend them in a little bit, and they might take the new shape. But always go easy, because you know the plastic is 30 plus years old, so you don't necessarily want to wreck this. But it's good to have some slack because it allows the wheels to spin freely. That looks pretty good. So some guys will actually oil them over here. I don't think it's necessary to do that. Put that down in the comments, whether you oil your passenger car wheels and train car wheels. On a lot of the engines, I don't oil them. There's a channel called the Marklin of Sweden, and they actually did a scientific test to see what was in the dust. I'll put a link to the description of that video on the bottom. They did some scientific tests to know what was in the dust from the track. And it turned out to be a lot of it, as you can expect, is just atmospheric stuff. But some of it is actually oil from the trains. So that will be the bad thing about oiling your wheels. And the good thing, I suppose, is you have less rolling resistance and your wheels last longer. At any rate, I'm going to put the windows back in and the roof back in on this one. So at this point, everything looks pretty good. There's one more thing I want to do with this set. Whenever you go to the second-hand store, keep your eyes open. I found this in a second-hand store. This case I paid, I think, $5. And look at that. It's all wood. It's got glass. The wood, it's got that feel. The Powhatan Arrow, these cars are probably from the 40s. It's got that 40s feel, you know, all real materials, no plastic. Everything's metal and glass. And this obviously was probably to hold the collector spoons. So it's really neat. I am going to remove these two racks here. I will remove these. There's a little nail that you can see there. I'm going to do it real careful. And I'll remove that. And I'll also clean a little bit glue from the price tag. I'm going to clean that with my car wax, my turtle wax, and then I'll clean the glass. And I'll remove the two inserts for the spoons. I ran into a little trouble while removing my staples. So this one came out pretty good. This one made a little mark. So let me show you what I'm going to do to improve that. I'm going to take just a little bit of wood glue, just a drop like that. That's all you need, maybe less. And I'm going to fill in the hole with that. If you have something that's maybe even bigger, you would use sawdust and wood glue to fill in the hole. But this is going to be good for that level of hole. So I'm going to let that dry. I actually picked out two colors. I'm going to start with the lighter one, and then I'll come in and add some of the darker ones. You can still see the damage a little bit, but it's not so annoying anymore. I also found some paint that closely matched my box, so I was able to hide it even further. Now I'm gonna want to fool around with the layout, see what I can, see what's the best way to display my passenger cars. I printed up some old ads just to see how cool that would be. Here's another way you could display it. That actually looks pretty cool. In the end, I think it's gonna be a variation of this, and then using the old ad just as a cover. I think that's gonna look best. Yeah, that hits the spot. This is a very nice display for this train. Let's welcome the star of our show, the Bachmann Spectrum 611. So this one is an exceptionally good runner. Daniel Cordopassi made a review of this. I think it's under the channel of TSG Multimedia. I'll put a link on the description. But basically, he liked it. He's gonna say, you know, always the couplers are not the right height or the wheels are out of gauge. But seriously, I think he really liked it. So this is beautiful. That's what I'm into. It's the streamlined 484. These are the engines that I like. And when I got it, the drawbar was broken, but I fixed it right away. I've had this for quite a few years, but never a train to run it. I know this one was broken when I got it because there's some parts in the box, just floating around. There's a bunch of parts. This is part of the injector, and I've got some springs and some little screws which belong to this engine. These belong to this engine, but I couldn't use it because I had to do something to repair the drawbar. At any rate, it runs awesome now, and I'm really glad I got it. I'll show you some of the detail. How I tell it apart from the earlier version is this hump here is much higher on the other version, and the little bars, the grab irons in the front, are slightly different. But the older version also looks really good, and I go on eBay, I try to get it, but people pay good money for the older version. People pay really good money for this. It's a really good engine. It's got all these added grab irons, you know, here and here, and there's the pop valves and the bell. It's just great detail throughout. I'm very pleased with this engine. Like I said before, I did not have a train to run it with before. So let's go put that on the track. And now it's time to run some trains. I never took this apart. I never needed to. It was always a good runner. It even has a backup light. So that is really cool. So we'll just hook up to the train there. Yeah, those micro trains, they sure work good. All aboard! This is also its inaugural shakedown run. So I'm also checking that all my wheels, all my couplers, everything's working right the way it should be. It's looking real good so far. I'm giving it time for everything to warm up. Yeah, that really looks amazing. Don't you just hate being stuck at the crossing, waiting for a long train to pass? Come on, I'm in a hurry. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.